Good morning and welcome to a special treat today. Today is a Halloween blog hop with some fellow demonstrators with the Simply Stars team. We're all under Heather Summers. We're just sharing a little bit of our creativity and love and passion for Halloween with you today. So I hope you enjoy this video. We're going to be making it can be used as a card, but this is actually going to be an invitation. A friend of mine has a little one turning 1 and she wanted something special. So here I am, I'm embossing the base of the invitation in basic black cardstock, and it's just using the spiderweb embossing folder. And now I'm going to go over the web with a Versamark pen. My pen is actually quite dry. That sucker is very old. But instead of buying a new one, what I've done is I just add re-inker to my Versamark ink pad, and then I just dip the pen in and brush it along. So I'm doing that because what I'm going to do is emboss the spider web. I really want it to be shiny and shimmery like a real spider web would be. So I mixed some black embossing powder with the iridescent ice embossing powder, and it's about a 50-50 mix. And so the black, obviously the black's not going to show, but it does because it'll give the image a shimmery, like almost like a wet look. And then of course the iridescent ice will add the ice look to it, the sparkly kind of look to it. And I hope you can see, I do try and show you later on in the video kind of how it shows, but in real life it really shows. So I've in a couple of videos I have mixed the embossing powders with the iridescent ice to get a sparkle, and it's just a really neat effect. And then color on color is a neat effect too to add it with. I know it seems very time consuming. Luckily I only had to make 11 of these because it is time consuming. This was probably took the longest on all of the cards. So there's the mix. You can see I just have it in a little because I was making so much of this, I have it in a container. You guys know I normally use coffee filters, but because I was making so much, I figured I needed it in a bigger container. You can see I missed a few spots. By the 11th one I had this down pat though. I had a system. The thing with Versamark though, you can't always tell where you are. I'm really enjoying making videos. I think I'm getting a little bit better at it. But if you have any suggestions for me, I'm always happy to hear them. If you would like to see something specific in a video, please comment and I'd be happy to make it for you. So here I am heat embossing with the heat tool. It's like magic. I love watching it turn. It does. It just feels like magic. I always do it along the back. And there you can see that shimmery tone on tone wet look. Now we're going to do a banner. I'm going to use the the pennant punch to punch out a banner, but first I'm going to use that same embossing powder to emboss some words. This is just a script stamp. It's old, but it has happy birthday all in it, and it's really going to show with the black. And you can use any kind of script. Actually, for the rest of the cards I did the same repeating boo like I did in my Happy Boo card that's also a video, and that turned out really nice because then I embossed that on white cardstock and then went back in with the elegant eggplant and sponged around it, so it was like an emboss resist. It turned out really well. So those were, it's just like a lot of different birthday sayings. And I just went in with my pennant punch and just punch them out. Yeah, you just have to move it around to figure out how to get the best look. Now I punched out some bases of with the other side, and I'm just going to layer them. And to adhere them, I'm just going to use a little bit of my favorite glue, the Tombow multi-purpose glue. I just say Tombow. It's a mouthful to say it all, but I love this glue. It, like I said, Tombow is forever. It sticks well, and it sticks fast. So it's a really good glue, especially for little details or any kind of 3D paperwork, that sort of thing. I really like it for that purpose. So now I'm going to stamp my images. These are, I call this little guy Mo the Mummy, and the other one I'm going to stamp is Frankie. He's little Frankenstein. This is from the Googlie Ghouls stamp set. I'm actually using the kit that's in the Holiday Mini. The tags are going to come into play later here. So I really wanted him, I didn't want him to be all in black, so I'm coloring him with Elegant Eggplant. And like you can see, when I color on my stamps, I use the very edge of my brush tip, and I try and go in one motion so that you don't get the back and forth lines. Here I am just adding the basic black, because I still need it to be outlined. I'm going to go in with 2 shades of green and color him in with the green color, because he's Frankenstein. He's baby Frankenstein. Once I'm done coloring, you just give it a nice little, like a huff of hot breath. And there's my Stampin' mat. This is my favorite way to stamp now. I just love the image that I get with that. It always turns out well. I highly recommend it. So the 2 colors of green I'm using, I'm going in with the Certainly Celery for the lighter green, and then I'll go back and do highlighted portions with Lucky Limeade just to give him some shading and two-tone look. I'm being very careful here because basic black will run. It's not like stays on, so you just have to be careful when you're doing your coloring so you don't run into the black. And if you run into the black, just scribble. You can see the scribbles on the page where I colored the black off the tip. Now I'm just going to cut them out. Like I said, there's a lot of details on these invitations. I'm very glad I only made 11. And you'll see that when I'm cutting, I move the paper and not the scissors. That's one of the best tip I could give you for fancy cutting images, is that you do that. You move the image and not the scissors. And then I usually do all the big pieces first, and then I'll go back in and take out the little pieces. So that's what the tags are going to look like. I had done in the video putting them together, but my battery died. So I used the basic of the tags. I sponged them with Elegant Eggplant, then punched out the 1 3/4 inch scallop in the pumpkin pie, and then the 1 1/4 inch scallop in the glimmer paper. And I just have them layered with dimensionals. And then of course added googly eyes. So I also punched holes in my pennants, and I'm just stringing them on some Lucky Limeade baker's twine, because that's going to make my little banner. And then I'm just going to use a little bit of snail to adhere the strings to the back. And then I'll pop the whole banner up on the front of the card with dimensionals. There. There's the dimensionals. I'm going to also add some bows, and so I'm going to tie those in Lucky Limeade, and I'll adhere them with a glue dot. You'll see me do that in just a second. So there's the bows. I kind of cut out the tying of them. It got really fussy. Trying to keep the video shorter, you have to cut out what you don't think is important. I normally don't handle my glue dots, but when I'm attaching a small detail, what I'll do is I'll roll it up into a smaller little ball, and then that way you don't have extra adhesive sticking out. And there. Very cute. And then I'm going to attach Frankie to the front. Just like that. And then for the inside of the card, I've just taken a top note die, and I'd like to finish most of my cards with the top note, and I'm going to use the Stamp-A-Majig to put the invitation pieces on the inside. This stamp set's retired. I think we have another invitation one where you can do like the to and from and RSVP, but this is the one I like. It works really well. And so I stamped it on the Stamp-A-Majig, and now I'm using that guide, the image sheet, to stamp it onto the top note die. You'll notice I tack my top note in place with a little piece of dado so it doesn't shift on me. Stamping it and stays on. Don't really have to, it was just, that's the black ink I had on my desk because I was using it for Mo the Mummy. And I'm just giving it a sponge with Elegant Eggplant. I'm going to attach it with some snail. And then we're going to add Mo the Mummy down at the bottom. Just like that. And that is the invitation. I hope you like it. Thanks for watching.